Cam Thomas, ladies and gentlemen, is a guy that we all have been waiting for. And I was, kind of confused if he was going to be a guy who was actually going to get an opportunity this year with Jock Vaughn being a super defensive guy. And Cam Thomas said, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is 24 points in the first half. All right. And I've always been a fan of Cam Thomas coming out of LSU. You knew this kid was just pure scoring was his name, okay? Pure bucket. He came out, we knew this kid had 6 Man of the Year potential coming out of LSU after dropping 23. Like, this kid was as good as a scorer as it came. Everything else about his game was poor, but this guy came in to, looking like we knew he could be Lou Will, okay? This kid's got that Lou Will, Malik Monk vibe to him. And I think, there was a fear that he could be Rashad Vaughn or Shabazz Muhammad, but for me, when you look at this, Cam Thomas is turning into a long-term NBA player, given his high-scoring level ability. I think that, look, he was literally Trae Young, Markelle Fultz, Kevin Durant, and Michael Beasley are the only true freshmen in college history besides Cam Thomas to average at least 23 points in the last quarter century. And if you drop that down to 21 points, RJ Barrett, Zion Williamson, Marvin Bagley, Chris Humphries, Carmelo, Michael Redd, and Sharif Abdul-Rahim are all in that list. But if you look at the ceiling that, we've seen Thomas increase as a passer, and, he tries a bit more on defense. We're never going to say he's a good defender, but going 13 of 21 for 36 points in an NBA game, you just don't teach that. You don't teach that, okay? That's just not teachable. That's you're born with that. Okay, that ability, that innate ability to just have a nose to score. And a guy who's 6'5", I'd say at this point, almost 6'4", he's got this little bounce. Like, he's such a good scorer. Yes, he's shown that he can kind of outgrow that tunnel vision. 2 assists, still nothing insane, as he still doesn't really look to pass, but he shows that he can make plays. And I think his peak is as a number 2 scoring option on a good team, but outside of that on-ball offense, he's showing that he can be, a scorer with that catch and shoot. And he's the archetype, obviously a straight 6-man microwave off the bench, and he's starting to provide some outside scoring, but he also tonight he went 2 of 5 from 3, so he's showing that he can shoot that 3. At the end of the day, we all know his best role is a 6-man, and he's going to be a guy who's going to be able to take, because he's definitely got that Jamal Crawford type, obviously not as much passing, but I still think that, he's a dime a dozen, flashing microwave, ISO scoring guard. He's the type of guy that, yes, he can only get buckets, but he's showing that he can do a little bit of, other things. And I think, he's not a terrible passer and not the world's worst defender, but he's showing that he does have a first step to get to the rim at a decent level, and he has the handle to get to efficient spots on the floor, which he's mastering, kind of a la what James Harden did with his entire step back package. And he's definitely a guy that I could see in a few years be a 6-man of the year candidate, and he's doing a good job, and he's in a system where they're going to need him to score at a rapid rate, because they don't really have those scores on this team. So I do want to hear your guys' thoughts, and if you guys are in agreement with me, or you guys are going to be like, nah, Cam Thomas sucks and he'll never be anything more than a guy who's a wannabe Lou Will, Jamal Crawford, etc. I have faith in the kid. In my opinion, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be good. And I think it's more of the sense that, look, obviously he's got flaws, and I don't think he's, obviously he is a dime of a dozen player, but he's got that confidence to do things. You need guys like this in the playoffs, and we're seeing guys of his caliber get paid. It's crazy to think that Anthony Simons, Tyler Hero, and Kevin Porter are all viewed a lot more highly than Cam Thomas, when Cam Thomas isn't that far behind them in terms of pure just offensive ability. I mean, those guys are better, but let's not act like they're on completely different planets.